in this wasteland. I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead. A man reduced to a single instinct. Survive.
First off, hats off to you guys. I mean, this movie is a beast. It's such an honor to meet you, not just because you're the creator of Mad Max, but also Babe, and Babe Pig in the City. You directed that, and those are movies I showed to my kids.
I had a cuddly toy version of Babe. I was telling you this the other day, and if you squeezed it, it like sung and had quotes from the movie. I've still got it somewhere. Great part of my childhood, that.
Do you remember being a little traumatized at the time?
Traumatized?
Well, by Pig in the City, because I mean, it was the dark.
It's quite
movie.
dark, yeah.
Yeah.
I still haven't quite recovered from it.
Well, I mean, what's great about Pig in the City is that, I mean, it's unlike any other kids movie because it's brilliant and dark and really challenges kids. And what's great about Fury Road is it's this big budget tentpole, which is unlike any other big budget tentpole because it dares to be rated R, which you just don't see anymore. I mean, Terminator movies are PG now. Yeah. So I don't know if it was a challenge to make this movie as brutal as it is.
Well, the intention wasn't to make it brutal, just to tell a story, and it's a really tough world. I mean, it's not a movie with a lot of spraying blood and stuff like that. I think we get sort of tired of those sort of things. But this is, a hardcore people and extremists trying to survive a wasteland, and it's just in the telling of the story. The other thing about it is, from the get-go, I wanted to make it one continuous chase. Whereas in the way that Alfred Hitchcock said, I try to make movies where they don't have to read the subtitles in Japan, that play purely visually. And so we set out to do it, and then you pick up you pick up what you need to know about the characters, their interrelationship in the world as you go on the run, as it were. So it was a very, very specific exercise, and also it's a little bit like music, like if you're writing a symphony, it's visual music in a way, and once you start a certain pace and a certain tempo, you've got to kind of keep going, for me it's kind of a rock opera in a way. But I like your term, a beast.
Well, was there any effort to try and make this a PG-13 movie? Like, I mean, as all blockbusters are nowadays in this?
It was sort of borderline. It could have been had we softened some things. At PG-13, it was just on the border, but the studio, to their credit, said, if we take all that stuff out, it will lose its quality, it'll lose its tone, it'll be too watered down. So, so that was really, really great. And when we tested it with audiences, if we softened it too much, it just didn't have that sort of intensity. It tested much better when we put the more quirky, unusual, sort of more disturbing stuff in there. It just created the intensity of experience. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I'm sure it's the same with everyone else, I just love going to the cinema, sit in the darkness with strangers and sit back in the seat and just get sucked up on the screen. So that's what we're trying to do with this movie.
Speaking to, I mean, there's a lot of people who condemn violence in movies, and God bless them, but I mean, I feel like sometimes we need to see our nightmares on screen, and I don't know if you guys would agree with that. Like, you need the movies to actually thrill and scare you.
I think even well before movies, all storytelling, whether they're biblical stories, whether they're nursery rhymes, Incy Wincy Spider, or
Jack
Hansel
and
and Gretel, Jack and Jill.
His head was cracked open.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's exactly right. I'd forgotten. And I remember, Hansel and Gretel. I mean, that's a pretty dark story. There's something in us, and the Greeks said this, that we need some sort of catharsis. And Stephen King had a wonderful phrase. He said, horror movies are like a dress rehearsal for termination. They're in a way that we can go in like a roller coaster ride, get the thrill, but know that we're going to come out the other end intact. So we go through that experience. And if we don't do it in our work, we do it in our dreams. And I think that's a function of nightmares, to process that stuff.
What's your name?